My psycho sister told me to call her, and my mom encouraged her, so I tried to sneak out of the house. My mom caught me and did everything she could to stop me. Plus 3 updates when I told my abusive mom I wanted to move out of her house for college. She literally burst into tears, screaming that I don't love her. My sister came in and asked what happened. My mom screamed that I don't love her and I want to leave. My sister got out her phone and sent me the following private message completely unprovoked. You're stupid. I hate you. You're trash. And I'm glad you got robbed. No one loves you or ever will. And how dare you upset my mom? She's been nice to you your whole life, and all she ever wanted was for you to stay. You'll never amount to anything, and I know you're thinking about killing yourself, so why don't you actually do it? No one will care. Your boyfriend broke up with you last year, and I think that shows that no one cares. I hope you get raped again, but I need to shut up before you call the police, like you used to do to your mom when we were kids. There's so much I'd like to tell you, but I don't want to be a bully. When I read that, I started crying, and when my mom saw me crying, she started laughing uncontrollably and calling my sister hilarious. You're not going anywhere, my mom told me before she left. I wanted to leave immediately, but I didn't even know where to go. I tried to calm down, tried to think, but then my sister walked back into the room. She had a smug look on her face. She stopped in front of me and just stared, as if she was teasing me to say something. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice dripping with false concern. "Did I hurt your feelings?" She didn't wait for my answer. "Oh, wait, I forgot. You don't have any. You're just this empty shell who thinks you owe everyone something." I didn't say anything. I didn't trust myself to speak. I knew that if I opened my mouth, I would either scream or cry again, and I didn't want to give her that satisfaction. She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "You're such a pathetic little crybaby. No wonder no one wants you." Then she came up behind me, and before I could react, she flicked the back of my head. I stumbled forward a little, and she laughed. "Oops," she said mockingly. "Sorry, I didn't see you standing there." It stung, but I didn't turn around. I just stood there, clenching my fists, trying to keep myself together. I felt trapped, like I couldn't even move. She leaned in again, her breath in my ear. "You know, you really should do everyone a favor and just disappear. You'd be doing us all a huge favor." I closed my eyes, wanting to disappear through the floor, wanting to be anywhere but here. She pulled away and laughed again, a sharp, angry sound. "Yeah, that's what I thought. Go ahead, keep pretending you're so brave and strong, but we all know you're just a coward." She turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, still shaking. My head was throbbing where she'd snapped me, but it was nothing compared to the heaviness in my chest. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. I knew I had to leave here, but I didn't know how. Mom was right. I wasn't going anywhere. That night, I went back to my room and locked the door. I knew I had to leave. I couldn't stay in this house anymore. It was like being trapped in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the blank wall in front of me, trying to figure out what to do next. I knew I couldn't just walk out the front door. My mom and sister would stop me. I needed a plan, something foolproof. First, I grabbed my phone and opened the messages from my sister. I screenshotted everything. I didn't know if I'd need them, but I wanted proof just in case. It felt weird, like I was building a case against my own family, but they left me no choice. I saved the screenshots in a hidden folder, then backed them up to email. After that, I started looking through the other messages my sister had sent me over the years. A lot of horrible things, and I saved those too. Every insult, every threat. It was a lot. I tried not to read them too closely, because I knew it would only make me cry again, and I needed to stay focused. Then I made a list of the things I needed to take with me. Clothes, my laptop, a few books, some cash. I had been saving it from my part-time job. I had about $300 stashed away. Not much, but hopefully enough to start somewhere else. I started packing a small bag, trying to do it quietly so no one would hear. I rolled up my clothes and stuffed them in with my laptop and charger. I shoved the cash deep into my backpack, underneath everything else. My heart was pounding the whole time, like I was doing something wrong, but I told myself I had to do it. I couldn't stay here and pretend everything was okay. As I was zipping up my bag, I heard footsteps coming down the hall. I froze, my heart in my throat. The doorknob rattled, and I realized I'd forgotten to open it. "Open the door," my mother's voice said, sharp and irritated. I hesitated for a second, then forced myself to stand and open the door. She pushed it open and stood, crossing her arms, looking at me. Her eyes slid to the bag on my bed, and I saw the realization dawn on her. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she demanded. I tried to remain calm, tried to think of something to say, but I could feel the panic rising in my chest. "I'm just packing," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "For college, I just wanted to be ready." "Don't lie to me," she snapped, walking into the room. "You think you're going to leave after everything I've done for you? You're just going to leave?" I swallowed, my mouth dry. "I'm not trying to leave right now," I said, forcing a smile. "I was just packing. I'm not going anywhere." She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. She stepped closer, her face inches from mine. "You think you're so smart? You think you're going to run away and live this perfect little life? Well, no, you're not going anywhere." "I know, Mom," I said, trying to keep my voice soft. "I know. I'm staying here. I'm sorry." I hated saying it, hated pretending, but I knew that if I didn't, she'd make things worse. She looked at me for a long moment, her eyes boring into mine, like she was trying to see if I was lying. I forced myself to keep looking her in the eyes, to keep my expression calm. Finally, she pulled back, her lips curling into a smirk. "That's exactly it," she said. "You're not going anywhere. You belong here, with your family. Don't forget that." I nodded, trying to look as defeated as I felt. "I won't forget," I said quietly. She gave me one last disdainful look before turning and walking out of the room, slamming the door behind her. I let out a shaky breath, feeling like I'd just run a marathon. My hands shook as I finished packing, shoving a few more things into my bag. I wasn't going to let her win. I wasn't going to stay here and let them destroy me. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was leaving this house. I had to, even if it meant sneaking out in the middle of the night. I was leaving. I wasn't going to let them break me anymore. I was getting out of this house, and I didn't care what it took. Something I should also mention is that I managed to secretly contact someone I know. I told her about my family situation, and she and her family kind of knew my mom, and they told me they would take me in if I could get to them and not tell anyone where I was. So that's where I'm going. Update 1. My hands are shaking, but I'm on my way to a domestic violence shelter. I'm so scared. The family that was going to take me in said my mom is too scary when she's angry. And if she found out where I was, they were afraid she would do something crazy to them. And they didn't want to take that chance. I'm so upset with them. She didn't even need to know I was there. How would she know? They live miles and miles away. I look like a mess right now, and that's because it all happened so fast. The night I left, my mom saw me walking out the door. I got a vase thrown at me, and she said mean things. My life was threatened by her. I didn't even have time to shower or anything. I look and smell terrible. Update 2. I'm in the emergency room getting medication. The domestic violence shelter is paying for it. I'm scared of being judged because I actually got out of bed and looked terrible, but I needed to get away. The shelter itself is pretty nice. It's so nice not to get yelled at and literally fear for your life when you go to bed. The only downside is that they give me 30 days before I have to leave. Luckily, I have an interview scheduled. I don't know what the best thing to do is, to be honest, and tell them that I really need a job because I'm in a shelter. It's at a movie theater, so that would be really cool. My friend and her parents also changed their minds and said that I can stay with them if I have nowhere else to go after these 30 days. I just need to buy a ticket. Update 3. Wow, it's been almost 3 years since I posted a desperate plea for help. For some reason, those posts just popped into my head after all this time. And rereading them makes me want to hug my old self because I forgot how bad it was. I also want to hug all of you for helping me. I wrote down the advice you gave me and I actually put it to use. So here is the latest update to this saga, and it is a happy one. The shelter I stayed at was very nice and brand new. The staff told me how cramped the other one was, so I was very lucky to arrive when I did. After the first day, my nerves calmed down and I could just breathe. There were about 7 other women there, and each had their own room with a nice bathroom. I was the youngest there, and the other women gave me life advice, and they even did my makeup for interviews. We took turns cooking according to the rules, and we developed a good relationship. The staff was also amazing, and they talked to me about life, too. I felt so safe in this place because of the security. Oh, I almost forgot. A church group came to give us blankets they made, and I still have it. Sometimes I snuggle up to it and think about how far I've come. I love that blanket, and I wash it very gently. We also had group and individual therapy, which helped a lot. I know not every experience at a domestic violence shelter is like this, but please don't be afraid to just leave when the going gets tough. Domestic violence is considered domestic violence. I managed to find a job that paid more than the movie theater was offering, and I told them I didn't plan on going back to school in the future. Yes, it was a lie, but I couldn't afford the rent working at the movie theater. I decided to look for my own place rather than just stay with a friend who suggested it, because I needed stability. And if things went badly, I would have no support network and would have to start over. I had no reason to think things would go badly, but after leaving such a bad situation, I guess nothing felt safe. I rented a room, and my roommate was never home because he was a truck driver. I didn't feel very comfortable staying with an older man I didn't know, but I had very few options. He was very kind, and since our schedules never matched, we would leave each other goodbye notes since we couldn't do it in person. I still have his note. I went back to school the next semester when my medical leave was up, but not to my original school. I felt like I needed a fresh start, and my family knew about the old school anyway, so I applied to different schools. I got into a great school. I told my story about everything I had been through in my essay. When my sister told me I would be nothing, she was wrong, and I think she knew she was wrong in her assessment of me. I graduated this year and have a stability I have never known before. Although I am a few years older than I wanted to be when I graduated, I realized that these things don't matter, and the medical leave was helpful. I just got engaged to a wonderful man with a wonderful family. They always tell me that they are my family, and I am very close to my future mother-in-law. I had food poisoning for the first time a few days ago, and my fiancé left the house at 2 a.m. to get Pedialyte to make sure I was okay. And when I thought I would never get out of the bathroom, he told me he would make me lentil soup. I didn't have to ask or even say anything. When I threw up as a child, my mom would tell me to go back to sleep. It's nice to be treated like that, and sometimes I find myself saying, "You don't have to," when he tries to do something nice for me. He has 6 siblings, and they are like the siblings I never had. I have learned to value myself and put myself first. I wasn't loved, so I do things for myself that I didn't receive. No one made me feel special, so I do it myself. I make a goal of buying flowers weekly. My therapist recommended it, and it makes a difference. No one cared that I was sick, so I make sure I rest and relax without interruptions when I was sick. No one valued my time or space, so I have days where I don't even answer my phone and just spend time with myself. things like that. When I made the last update, I was crying, and I really didn't think it was going to be okay. I was in a shelter for 30 days, and I thought nothing good could happen in 30 days. I was so depressed and hopeless, and I had no idea things were going to go in such a positive direction. 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 Positive